The lights flickered inside the cold hospital room buried deep under the ground. Machines hummed quietly. The air smelled of metal, medicine, and something else, something alive. Dr. Aaron Vale stood beside a covered body lying on the silver table. His gloves trembled as he reached for the edge of the white sheet. He had seen many strange things in his life as a scientist, but this was different. This was not human. The creature had been found 2 days ago, frozen inside a strange metal pod buried under the Arctic ice. The government had brought it here to Lab 9, a place that didn't officially exist. Aaron was chosen to study it because he was the only one who had ever decoded alien DNA patterns. He thought it would be another dead specimen, but as he looked at the shape under the sheet, something in his chest told him it wasn't dead. The guards outside had warned him, no one touches it without authorization. But Aaron didn't care anymore. He had to know. He took a deep breath and began to pull the sheet down. Slowly. The alien's skin was pale silver, smooth like glass. Its chest was thin, its bones sharp and strange, almost fragile. Its head was longer than a human's, its eyes closed. No heartbeat, no breath. Dead, or so it seemed. Aaron leaned closer to study the marks on its neck. Small glowing veins that pulsed faintly like dying stars. He adjusted his instruments, scanning for cell movement. Nothing, then a soft sound, a breath, a whisper. "Please, end it." Aaron froze. His heart skipped a beat. He looked around, thinking he imagined it. But the whisper came again, trembling and weak. "Please, end it." The voice came from the body. The alien's lips had moved. Aaron stumbled back, knocking over a tray. Metal tools clattered to the floor. The alien's eyelids flickered open, revealing eyes of deep blue light, not glowing but alive, sad and full of pain. For a second, Aaron couldn't move. He only stared. The creature's gaze seemed to look through him as if seeing every thought, every memory. "Please," it whispered again. "End the cycle." Aaron shook his head. "I can't, you're alive." But before he could say more, the alien's chest began to glow. A light, soft at first, spread across its body, flowing like liquid silver. The lights in the room dimmed. The monitors around them went wild, beeping in panic. Aaron stepped closer, shielding his eyes. And then it happened. The alien's skin began to shift, morphing, stretching, becoming smoother, softer. The silver color faded into a pale human tone. Its facial bones changed shape. Its fingers shortened. Aaron watched, breathless, as the creature's body started looking human. He backed away, whispering to himself, "This isn't possible." The door behind him slammed open. 2 soldiers rushed in, shouting, "Step away, doctor." But before they could reach him, a sudden burst of energy erupted from the table. A wave of blue light filled the room, throwing everyone to the ground. Aaron covered his face. When he looked again, the alien's form was still. The soldiers lay unconscious. The machines had melted, their screens blank. He crawled to the table, trembling. The air crackled with static. As he reached out, he saw something that made his blood run cold. On the creature's arm, tiny strands of DNA symbols appeared, glowing, moving, and he recognized them. Human DNA, his DNA. Aaron's head spun. He grabbed the scanner, checking again. The data confirmed it. His exact genetic signature was inside the alien cells. "How?" he whispered. "How do you have my DNA?" The alien's body twitched. Its lips moved once more. "Because you were never meant to be human." The words echoed inside Aaron's mind, even though the creature's mouth barely moved. His hands shook. The room felt colder. Then the alien's eyes slowly closed again. The glow faded. Silence filled the room, broken only by the soft hum of dying machines. Aaron stood there, breathing hard, staring at the now almost human face lying on the table. He wanted to scream, to call someone, to run, but his body refused to move. The whispers still echoed in his head. "End it, end the cycle." He looked down at his hands. His skin was glowing faintly under the light. Something was changing inside him too. And deep in the shadows of the room, one of the monitors came back to life, showing a single message blinking across the screen. Subject 1 awakened. Aaron stepped back, heart pounding. He looked at the alien one last time and whispered, "What are you?" But this time the alien didn't answer. It only smiled, a faint human smile. And in that moment, Dr. Aaron Vale knew. Whatever had begun here tonight would change humanity forever. The next morning, the underground lab was quiet. Too quiet. The white walls still smelled of burnt metal from last night's explosion. Most of the equipment was destroyed. Only Dr. Aaron Vale remained inside the room, sitting beside the bed where the alien lay motionless. He hadn't told anyone what really happened. The guards were gone, replaced by silence and fear. He'd sent a report saying the energy surge caused a system failure, but he didn't mention the whispers. He didn't mention the light, and he definitely didn't mention the fact that the alien's DNA was human. Aaron leaned closer. The creature looked peaceful now, like a sleeping person. Its skin was pale, almost normal. Only faint silver lines under its veins showed that it wasn't fully human. He checked its pulse and slow, steady, alive. "How are you alive?" he whispered. "You were frozen for centuries." The creature's eyes suddenly opened. Aaron froze. Those blue glowing eyes stared right into his soul. But this time they didn't look like eyes of a monster. They looked like eyes full of sadness and wisdom, like someone who had seen the end of worlds. "Where am I?" The voice was weak but clear. It sounded human now, calm, almost gentle. Aaron stepped back. "You're safe," he said softly. "You're in a laboratory. You were found in the Arctic." The creature blinked slowly, as if trying to remember. Then it said, "Arctic, cold, end of cycle." Aaron frowned. "End of cycle? What does that mean?" The alien, no, the being, looked at its hands. It turned them over slowly, staring at the skin as if it didn't recognize its own body. "It's happening again," it whispered. "We tried to stop it. But you continued." Aaron's heartbeat quickened. "Who are you?" The being looked up. "I am called Elios." The name echoed in the room like a forgotten memory. Aaron wrote it down automatically, his scientist's mind still trying to stay calm. "Elios, why did you ask me to end it?" Elios looked toward the ceiling, his eyes reflecting the faint flicker of dying lights. "Because your kind was never meant to live this long. We made you to carry our hope, but you changed. You grew beyond us. Now, the balance is broken." Aaron stared at him. "Made us? You mean humans?" Elios nodded slowly. "You are our children, and our curse." Aaron's hands trembled. "That's impossible. You feel it, don't you?" Elios said softly. "The light inside you. It's waking." Aaron stepped back, his heart pounding. He looked down at his hands. They were glowing again faintly, like they did the night before. "How do I stop it?" he asked, panic rising in his voice. "You can't," Elios whispered. "It's already begun. The gene is alive inside every human. The code was sleeping, until I came back." Aaron felt the floor tilt under his feet. His mind spun with questions. "Why me? Why do I have your DNA?" Elios looked at him with deep sorrow. "Because you were made from me. You are part of the first generation that carried my blood. You are my reflection." Aaron took a step closer, eyes wide with disbelief. "No, that can't be true. My parents were human." Elios's face softened. "Were they? Or were they simply told they were?" The words hit Aaron like ice. He backed away, shaking his head. No, this is madness." The room's lights flickered again. Alarms beeped faintly from the broken systems. A distant thud echoed. Footsteps in the corridor. Elios looked toward the door. "They are coming," he said calmly. "They know I'm awake." Aaron grabbed his coat. "Who's coming?" "The ones who fear the truth," Elios replied. "The same ones who tried to bury me in ice." The door suddenly banged. Aaron turned, heart racing. A voice shouted from the other side. "Dr. Vale, step away from the subject." Elios reached out, his cold hand gripping Aaron's wrist. The touch sent a surge of energy through his body. Memories flashed in Aaron's mind. Broken cities, burning skies, a giant ship leaving a dying world. "Listen to me," Elios said urgently. "They want to use you. You must choose, help me, or they will erase everything." Aaron hesitated, torn between fear and curiosity. "Why me?" he whispered again. "Because you are human enough to feel," Elios said, "and alien enough to understand." The door burst open. Soldiers in black suits rushed in, aiming weapons. Elios closed his eyes and whispered something in a language Aaron didn't know. The lights exploded. A wave of blinding energy filled the room. When Aaron opened his eyes, the soldiers were on the floor, unconscious. The room was smoking. Elios stood tall now, his eyes burning bright. "We don't have much time," he said. "They will come again." Aaron could only nod, shaking from fear and wonder. He looked at Elios and whispered, Then tell me what to do. Elios looked at him for a long moment and said quietly, "Save them, before they remember who they really are." The alarms wailed louder. Somewhere above, more footsteps echoed. Aaron realized his life and the future of all humanity had just changed forever. 3 hours later, Dr. Aaron Vale stood in his dark office, staring at the flickering computer screen. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every few seconds, his eyes went to the door, afraid someone would burst in. The lab above was in chaos. Soldiers unconscious, systems fried, cameras dead. But Aaron had locked himself inside, determined to uncover the truth before anyone could silence him. Elios's words still echoed in his head. "You were made from me. You are my reflection." He connected the alien's blood sample to the database. The DNA patterns glowed across the screen, lines of code twisting like a living thing. But they weren't just alien. They matched human sequences too, his sequences. Aaron zoomed in. Hidden inside the genetic strands was something strange. A symbol repeating again and again, 3 interlocking circles. He had seen that symbol before, years ago in his father's secret research. A chill ran through him. He typed the word slowly. Project Genesis. The system hesitated, then unlocked a buried file folder. Thousands of encrypted documents appeared. His father's name was on the top of every page, Dr. Samuel Vale. Aaron clicked the first file. His father's voice crackled through an old recording. "If you're hearing this, you've found the truth. Humanity isn't an accident. We were built to continue what they couldn't finish." Aaron's breath caught in his throat. His father's face appeared on the screen, tired and pale. "We took fragments from the visitor's DNA. We mixed it with our own. But the result was unstable. There was a code, a failsafe, buried in every generation. It sleeps waiting for a signal." Aaron leaned forward. "A signal? What signal?" The recording continued. "When the last of them returns, the code will awaken. It will change us or erase us." The screen flickered, then shut off. The file was corrupted. Aaron slammed his hand on the desk. No, come on." But the system refused to open again. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The air grew colder. A whisper brushed his ear. "You're close." He turned sharply. Elios stood at the door, pale but alive. His eyes glowed faintly blue in the dark. Aaron exhaled, both relieved and frightened. "How did you get in here?" Elios stepped forward slowly, looking at the screen. "You found it, didn't you?" "The truth beneath your blood," Aaron pointed at him. "Project Genesis, my father was part of it." "He used your DNA. He made us," Elios nodded. "Yes, he was the last guardian." "He believed he could fix what we broke," Aaron frowned. "Guardian? What does that mean?" Elios's voice softened. "When our world died, we scattered our essence across the stars. Each world received a seed, a chance to begin again. But your kind grew faster than we expected. You learned war, fear, greed. You became us. And worse." Aaron shook his head. "So what, you want to destroy us?" Elios looked at him, sadness in his eyes. "No, Aaron, I came to end the suffering. The signal that is coming, it will activate the code. Humans will either evolve or burn." Aaron stared at him, trying to understand. But there must be a way to stop it. Elios's expression changed, sorrow mixed with something like pride. "There was, once, a key hidden in the firstborn of the hybrid line, you." Aaron froze. "Me? Your DNA holds the lock. You can shut the code down or set it free." Aaron took a step back, disbelief flooding his face. "I'm just a scientist. I can't decide the fate of humanity." Elios tilted his head. "You already have, the moment you saved me." Before Aaron could speak, alarms blared across the lab. Red lights flashed on the walls. A robotic voice echoed through the halls. "Containment breach detected. Termination unit activated." Elios grabbed Aaron's arm. "They're coming for both of us. We must leave." Aaron hesitated. "Where?" "To where it all began," Elios said. "Your father's hidden base below the ice." The door behind them burst open. A drone floated in, armed with electric darts. Elios raised his hand. A flash of blue light shot from his palm and the drone dropped, smoking. Aaron's heart pounded. "What are you?" Elios turned to him. "What you will become if you survive this." He reached out, and in a flash of energy, the world around Aaron dissolved into darkness. For a second, he felt like he was floating, falling through memories not his own. He saw a city of light destroyed by fire. He saw alien ships leaving a dying planet. He saw human faces, faces just like his, crying in confusion. And then he heard a final whisper in his head. "The truth is beneath your skin." Aaron gasped and opened his eyes. He was lying on the snow. The wind howled around him. The night sky glowed faintly green above the Arctic ice. Beside him, Elio stood silently, looking toward a dark structure rising from the frozen ground. "Welcome home," Elio said, "to where humanity truly began." The icy wind screamed across the frozen wasteland. Dr. Aaron Vale pulled his coat tight, his breath fogging the air. Every step crunched against the ancient ice. The cold bit deep into his skin, but fear burned hotter inside him. Beside him walked Ilios, silent and steady, his glowing eyes reflecting the pale light of the northern sky. They had been walking for hours, following the faint blue beacon that shimmered far ahead, a pulse from beneath the snow. Aaron stopped for a moment, gasping. "Where are we going?" Elios didn't look back. "To the cradle," he said. "The place where your kind first touched the stars." Aaron frowned. "You mean where humans were created?" Elios nodded. "Yes. Hidden beneath this ice lies the heart of Project Genesis. Your father built it over our ruins." The word struck Aaron like a hammer. His father, the man who taught him curiosity and compassion, had also built a secret base on alien remains. He wasn't just studying life. He was rebuilding it. They reached the edge of a deep crack in the ice. Down below, faint lights glowed through the darkness like stars buried underground. "This is it," Elio said softly. "The beginning." Before Aaron could ask more, a distant sound rolled through the air, a low rumble growing louder. He turned toward the horizon and froze. Black helicopters. Their searchlights sliced through the night, scanning the ice field. Loudspeakers echoed with harsh voices. "This is the Global Security Force. Stop where you are." "You are in restricted territory." Ilios grabbed Aaron's arm. "They found us. How?" Aaron shouted over the wind. Elios's expression hardened. "They were always watching. You are too important to lose." Bullets cracked through the air. Ice exploded near Aaron's feet. He ducked, pulling Elios down behind a snow ridge. "Run!" Elios commanded. Aaron hesitated. "You said they want me alive." Elios looked at him with sorrow. "Alive, yes, but not free." Another bullet whizzed past. Elios raised his hand and a burst of blue energy exploded outward. The snow lifted in a blinding storm, hiding them from sight. They ran. The ground shook as explosions thundered behind them. Aaron's lungs burned, his vision blurred, but he didn't stop. Elios's hand glowed faintly ahead, guiding him through the storm like a beacon. They reached a circular platform buried in the snow, a metallic hatch with the same 3 interlocking circles Aaron had seen in his father's files. "This is it," Elios said. "Your father's work. He sealed it long ago." Aaron knelt beside it, brushing away ice. "How do we open it?" "Blood," Elios whispered. "Yours," Aaron froze. "Mine?" Elios nodded. "You carry the code." Aaron hesitated, then pressed his palm against the frozen metal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft hum vibrated through the ice. The circles began to glow, spinning slowly. The hatch opened with a low hiss, releasing a wave of warm air. They slipped inside just as the sound of helicopters thundered overhead. The tunnel below was narrow and glowing with pale lights that seemed alive. The walls pulsed faintly like breathing metal. Aaron stared in awe. This isn't human technology." Elios smiled faintly. "No, but your father learned from us. He built this place as both prison and sanctuary." They reached a large chamber filled with tanks of glowing liquid. Inside each tank floated humanoid shapes, unfinished, silent, suspended in blue light. Aaron's stomach twisted. "What are they?" Elios looked at him. "Versions of you. Attempts to perfect the code." Aaron stepped closer, horrified. Each figure looked almost human, but their faces were blank, their bodies incomplete. "My father made these?" "Yes," Elios said quietly. "He tried to create a bridge, humans who could carry our power without losing themselves. You are the only one who survived." Before Aaron could answer, a loud metallic clang echoed through the tunnels. The soldiers had broken through the hatch. Elios turned sharply. "They're coming. Go to the central core." Aaron looked around. "Where?" Elios pointed toward a glowing door at the far end of the chamber. The heart of Genesis. The truth waits there. Aaron ran, the sound of boots and gunfire closing behind him. Elio stayed behind, raising his hands as arcs of blue lightning surged through the room, knocking soldiers to the ground. "Go," he shouted. "You must see." Aaron burst through the glowing door. The room beyond was small, circular, with a single glass capsule in the center. Inside lay a man's body, perfectly preserved. Aaron's eyes widened. "Father!" It was Dr. Samuel Vale, not dead, frozen in time. A soft voice filled the room, his father's voice recorded long ago. "Aaron, and if you're here, then the code has awakened." I couldn't stop it, but maybe you can. Aaron's throat tightened. "Father, what did you do?" The recording continued. "The Genesis core must be protected. If it falls into their hands, humanity will end. But if Elios reaches it, humanity will change." Behind him, Aaron heard shouting, soldiers breaking through. Elios stumbled in, his body flickering with energy. "It's time," Elios whispered. "You must choose who we become." Aaron looked at his father's frozen face, then at the alien who called him his reflection. The chamber lights pulsed faster, red and blue, like two heartbeats colliding. And then, with trembling hands, Aaron reached toward the core, and the world around him exploded into light. The world around Dr. Aaron Vale was no longer solid. Light swirled like liquid glass, colors folding into one another. He tried to scream, but no sound came. The ground disappeared. He felt weightless, suspended between dreams and memory, then silence. When Aaron opened his eyes, he was standing in a huge white chamber. The walls pulsed softly like living skin. Strange symbols floated in the air, glowing, shifting, each one whispering in a language older than humanity. And in front of him stood Elios, his form flickering between alien and human. "You touched the core," Elios said softly. "Now you see what lies beneath your skin." Aaron looked down at his hands. They glowed faintly, veins like rivers of light. His heartbeat echoed through the room, each pulse spreading ripples through the air. "What is this place?" he asked. Elios stepped closer, his expression both proud and sad. "This is the memory field, a record left inside your blood. The truth your kind was never meant to remember." As he spoke, the walls shimmered, and visions formed around them. Vast landscapes of alien worlds, oceans that glowed with silver storms, towers of crystal rising into black skies. Aaron watched in awe. He saw beings like Elios walking among stars, building cities on distant planets. Then came the war, fire raining from the sky, worlds turning to ash. He saw a dying alien cradle a tiny glowing sphere and whisper words of hope. The sphere flew through space, through darkness, through time, until it landed on Earth. "That was the beginning," Elios said. "We called it Genesis. Our last breath became your first." Aaron's voice trembled. "So we're your children?" Elios nodded. "Yes, but you were never meant to be our slaves or replacements. You were meant to carry what we couldn't, the spark of choice." Aaron's eyes filled with tears. "My father knew. He found all this, didn't he? He found the ruins of our memory and believed he could fix us," Elios said gently. "But when he saw what humanity had become, war, greed, destruction, he feared he'd made a monster. So he built the failsafe, the signal," Aaron whispered. "Yes, the code to reset humanity, to erase everything and start again." Aaron shook his head in disbelief. "He wanted to destroy us?" Elios's eyes softened. "He wanted to save you from yourselves. But the signal will not just reset minds. It will rewrite every human cell. Some will evolve. Others will die." Aaron's knees felt weak. "And I can stop it?" "You are the key," Elios said. "Your DNA carries both sides, the creator and the creation. You can silence the signal forever, or let it play." Aaron stared into the glowing field. "And if I let it play?" Elios's voice grew quiet. "Then humanity becomes what it was meant to be, something beyond flesh. Something like us." Aaron's mind raced. He saw flashes of cities, people, faces he loved. His world, his species, his home, all fragile, all flawed, yet so alive. Could he risk destroying that for something unknown? "Why me?" he whispered. "Why not you?" Elios smiled faintly. "Because my kind was built on logic. Yours was built on love. Only a heart can choose what should live." Before Aaron could answer, the vision cracked, the world around them trembling. The white walls shattered into fragments of light. Sirens echoed from beyond. He gasped and found himself back in the chamber beneath the ice. The core still glowed, pulsing faster now, red and blue colliding like fire and blood. Elios stood weakly beside him, his form unstable. Soldiers poured into the doorway, weapons raised. Their leader shouted, "Dr. Vale, step away from the core!" Aaron turned to Elios. "If I stop it, will you die?" Elios smiled sadly. "If you stop it, we all stay as we are, half awake, half blind. But if you let it happen, I will vanish and humanity will open its eyes." Aaron looked from Elios to the soldiers. The world seemed to slow. The red lights reflected in his eyes, the hum of the core vibrating through his chest. He could feel the signal reaching out, like a heartbeat calling his name. His father's voice echoed from the frozen capsule. "Choose wisely, my son. One path ends the world, the other begins it." Aaron took a step forward, his hands glowing brighter. The soldiers shouted, but their voices faded into silence. He reached toward the core, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry, Father," he whispered, "but maybe it's time to stop being afraid of what we are." Elios nodded once, pride shining in his fading eyes. Aaron pressed his glowing hand against the core. A flash. Blinding. Endless. The ice cracked. The earth shook. From the depths of the Arctic, a wave of light spread across the planet, racing through oceans and cities, through every living being. People looked up at the sky as their eyes began to glow. And as the light consumed him, Aaron heard Elios's voice one last time. "You were the first human." Aaron, the bridge between stars, then silence. The world had changed. It began with a single pulse, an invisible wave that rolled across the sky, through oceans, through every living thing. Then came silence, followed by light. Across the planet, people looked up in confusion. City lights flickered. Machines died. Skies turned pale gold as the air itself seemed to hum with hidden energy. Children began to laugh for no reason, hearing songs no one else could hear. Others screamed, clutching their heads as visions filled their minds, memories of stars, of places that never existed. And far beneath the ice, Dr. Aaron Vale woke up. He gasped, lungs burning. He wasn't dead. He was lying on the cold metal floor of the Genesis chamber. The core was gone, melted into glowing dust that drifted like snow around him. His veins still glowed faintly blue, fading slowly with each breath. Beside him, Elios lay motionless. His form was flickering, breaking apart into light. Aaron crawled closer. "Elios, don't you dare die on me." Elios opened his eyes, bright, gentle, and full of peace. "It's begun," he whispered. "They are waking." Aaron shook his head. "What have I done? People are changing. The world's falling apart." "No," Elios said softly. "The world is becoming what it was meant to be." Aaron stood up shakily. The chamber trembled. Cracks spread through the ice above, glowing with golden light. Through the ceiling, he could see the storm outside, a storm of energy spiraling across the Arctic sky. He heard whispers again, thousands of voices overlapping in his mind, human and alien together, speaking as one. "Remember who you are." He clutched his head, groaning. "Stop, I can't." Elios reached out, his hand glowing weakly. "Don't fight it, Aaron, feel it." "This is your birthright," Aaron stumbled back. "Birthright? This feels like dying." "It is," Elios said, smiling faintly. "The death of what you were." Outside, the storm expanded. Satellites fell from orbit, their light streaking through the sky like falling stars. Communication systems failed. Every clock stopped at the same second. And yet, amid the chaos, miracles began to happen. A blind girl in Paris opened her eyes and saw. A dying old man in Tokyo took a deep breath and stood. People across the world felt connected, able to sense one another's hearts. Fear clashed with wonder. Some prayed. Some screamed. Some simply stood in silence, feeling everything. Aaron looked at Elios again. "This isn't evolution. This is madness." "Change is always madness at first," Elios whispered. "But look deeper." He placed his fading hand on Aaron's chest. In that instant, Aaron saw millions of humans glowing across the earth like stars. Energy threads linking them, weaving a pattern. A living network breathing and pulsing. Humanity had become one vast organism, alive in every thought. Aaron fell to his knees, overwhelmed. "They're connected. All of them. You gave them that gift," Elios said. You chose unity over fear. Aaron shook his head, tears streaming down his face. Then why do I feel like I've killed us? Because every creation must die to be reborn. Elios's form began to break apart completely, glowing particles lifting from his skin like fireflies. Aaron reached for him. No, Elios, don't go. Elios smiled, his voice fading. I was never meant to stay. My purpose ends when yours begins. Aaron grabbed his hand, but his fingers passed through light. Please stay. I can't do this alone. You're not alone anymore, Elios whispered. You never were. His final words echoed through the chamber as his body dissolved into shimmering dust, joining the golden storm swirling above. Aaron screamed into the silence. His cry echoed through the tunnels, carried up through the ice. The storm responded, brightening, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. He stumbled to the surface, pushing through the collapsing tunnel until he stood under the open sky. The Arctic night had vanished. The world was glowing, alive. Above him the aurora spread like wings, green, blue, gold. He could feel billions of heartbeats inside his own chest. He could hear the oceans whisper, the mountains breathe, the wind sing. It's beautiful, he whispered, and terrifying. Somewhere deep inside a new voice spoke, soft, familiar, not his own. Aaron Vale, first human of the Second Age. He fell to his knees, laughing and crying all at once. The storm began to fade, leaving behind a calm silence. In that stillness, Aaron looked at his reflection in the snow. His eyes now shimmered with faint blue light, half human, half something more. Elios, he whispered into the wind, what happens now? And faintly through the breeze he heard the answer. Now. They decide. Aaron looked up at the glowing sky. The future of humanity was no longer in his hands, it was in everyone's. The age of isolation was over. The signal had done its work. The question that remained was simple. Would this be the end of humanity? Or its true beginning? The storm was over. The world lay silent beneath a golden sky. The snow no longer felt cold. It shimmered like light turned solid. All across the planet, cities glowed faintly, their metal and stone breathing like living skin. Dr. Aaron Vale stood at the edge of the ice field, staring at the horizon. The sun was rising, but it wasn't the same sun he remembered. It pulsed softly as if aware of its new children. Days had passed since the signal. The world had not ended. It had transformed. Aaron looked around him. The air was alive with whispers. He could still hear them. Voices of billions flowing through him like a calm river. People were learning to use the connection. The panic had faded. In its place grew something he had never seen before. Understanding. He closed his eyes and listened. Somewhere, far away, a child was learning to move objects with thought. Somewhere else, a mother was healing her sick son just by holding his hand. Humanity was changing, awakening. Aaron smiled faintly. So this is what you meant, Elios. Behind him, the ice cracked softly. He turned and froze. A familiar figure stood there, formed entirely of light. Elios. His body no longer flesh or bone, but pure energy, shimmering like the aurora itself. Aaron whispered. You came back. Elios smiled gently. I never left. I am part of them now, part of you. Aaron stepped closer. Did it work, are we? What you hoped for. Elios's expression was calm, almost proud. You are more. You took what we feared and turned it into hope. You are not our continuation. You are our redemption. Aaron felt his chest tighten with emotion. Then why does it still hurt? Because you still remember what it means to be human, Elios said softly. And that is why your kind will never fall as we did. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind moved gently across the snow, carrying faint voices, laughter, prayers, songs, all blending into one living harmony. Aaron looked down at his hands. They still glowed faintly, but the light no longer frightened him. It felt warm, like home. I wish my father could see this, he murmured. Elios's gaze softened. He does, he's here too. His essence became part of the core before the signal spread. You carry him within your blood. Aaron smiled sadly. Then maybe he finally found peace. Elios stepped closer, his form flickering. He found something better, understanding. As have you. Aaron studied him quietly. What happens now? What becomes of us? Elios turned his face to the sunrise. Now you build a world not from fear but from memory. A world that remembers the pain and chooses kindness anyway. That is the purpose of humanity. Aaron let out a slow breath. And you? Elios's voice faded into a whisper. I was the last of the old. You are the first of the new. His form began to dissolve again, light scattering like dust in the wind. Aaron reached out instinctively. Elios, wait. But Elios only smiled, his voice echoing softly across the ice. When you pulled the sheet back, you didn't uncover death. You uncovered life, one that never ends. And with that, he was gone, absorbed into the morning light. Aaron stood alone beneath the vast sky, but for the first time, he didn't feel lonely. Every breath of air carried the heartbeat of billions. Every gust of wind whispered stories of new beginnings. He turned and began to walk. Each step left a faint trail of glowing prints in the snow. In distant lands, people were rebuilding. No more wars. No more borders. They spoke without words. They helped without being asked. They felt one another. Humanity had become something the old world could never have imagined, but deep inside they were still human, still dreaming, laughing, making mistakes, loving. The light hadn't erased their souls. It had only made them visible. As Aaron walked, he looked back one last time at the field of light where Elios had stood. He whispered, "You were right. This isn't the end." He raised his hand toward the glowing sky, and for a brief second, he saw billions of other hands rising too, from every continent, every heart, connected through the same light. The world shimmered with color. Mountains glowed. Oceans sang, and a new voice spoke in the back of his mind, a voice that was both alien and human, soft but infinite. "Welcome, children of light." Aaron smiled, tears falling down his face. The age of man was over. The age of humanity had just begun.